Suck it. Ha ha! Woo!
This is probably not a test. This is maybe your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the anal purge sanctioned by the US government. Weapons of class 4 and lower but also higher have been authorized for use during the purge. All other weapons are restricted. Government officials of ranking 10 or above have been granted immunity from the purge and shall not be harmed. Hopefully you understand whatever the hell that means. Also, try not to kill anybody subscribed to Purge Plus Premium. Commencing at the siren, any and all crime, including murder and also watching the Purge movies and especially making way too many cutaway jokes and talking too quickly, will be legal for 12 non-consecutive hours. Police, fire, sanitation, obstetrician gynecology, Arby's delivery, and emergency medical services will be unavailable until tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. when the purge concludes. Whether that's 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or if it's relative to your time zone, or if it's a secret third thing, is unclear at this time. Blessed be our new breeding fathers, and America, a nation rebred. May God be with you all.
So good luck with that. Oh my god, I totally forgot it was Purge Day, but it's okay. And it's all, on the app now. Nobody's gonna get in.
Hello, we're your patrons, and we're pissed that you haven't watched and explained all the Purge movies yet. So do that, or I'm gonna purge all over your lawn.
Ah, that's disgusting, dude. Come on.
Let us purge.
No, I get it. I'm queuing up the first one now. Good grief. Can you see me if I talk into this camera? Can you hear me?
Yeah, pretty good,
Great.
I guess.
He should have cut off his own penis.
Zoe.
Eating dinner. No
Yeah,
penis.
come on.
If you could stab your neighbor with no legal ramifications once a year, would you do it? You seem hesitant. What if it helped the stock market?
What's that smell?
A cologne?
Opportunity. No.
Yeah, now you're on board. Congratulations. You just agreed with the basic concept of capitalism. Swine and or pig.
Hello, sir.
The pig doesn't know his place, and now he needs to be taught a lesson.
Anyway, whatever. According to some on-screen text, America's doing super good at the moment because a new political party called the New Founding Fathers, because let's be honest, the old Founding Fathers haven't passed any meaningful legislation in like forever.
I don't know why you're looking up at me, bitch!
And speaking of, the new ones have invented a thing where everybody can kill each other, but only for like 12 hours once a year. Subsequently, unemployment is low.
It's all fine.
Particularly in the funeral therapy and waste disposal sectors. Patriotism, on the other hand, very high, and crime is low too, other than the, thousands or millions of atrocities committed on this one night of the year.
It's all fine.
By the way, we're focused on the whole murdering thing and how good that is for the economy, and obviously Dave agrees, but there's a lot of property damage that's gonna get done, and that seems like the real issue, right?
I mean, it's my American right to
blow some shit up.
Oops! Did I just plagiarize the general viewpoints of certain politically aligned media outlets during the 2020 protests? I'm sorry, H-Bomber guy! But also, I'm assuming I'm allowed to plagiarize during the purge itself? Oh no, I've confused myself! Jordan hurts himself in his confusion! Oh no, did I just plagiarize Pokemon? But it's the purge night, is that fine? Oh my god.
It's all fine.
Anyway, the actual movie part of the movie begins with home security salesman James Sandon returning home from a busy day of selling home securities. And boy, is he tired, because he is the #1 salesman in the whole division.
You're #1, Mr. Sandon.
Yes! #1!
People must be really scared of getting murdered in his region.
You got it, sir.
They definitely are in his neighborhood, where he sold a new system to basically all of his neighbors. I wonder if he's been going around threatening all of his neighbors to kill them on Purge night, because that would be an incredible sales pitch. Be like, hey Jeff, how's it going? I will kill you. But you know what I can't get through is my new security system. If you don't buy it, totally fine. I will be here on March 21st and I will stab you to death. But, you know.
Ow! You didn't tell me that thing was gonna bite me.
I only sell the best.
Yeah, threatening to kill all of your customers, it's just smart business. I keep threatening to murder Dave unless he signs up for my Patreon. And let me tell you, Dave is dead now.
Sorry.
Business! Dave's out there getting stabbed like, oh my God. Oh, why did they stab into me?
I get spaghetti strangled around.
And remember, canonically, I replaced Dave with clones, so Dave's back. Hey, Dave, 78 or whatever.
My hair's falling out.
Speaking of, even the flower industry is getting in on that good business booming action by apparently claiming that if you buy these blue flowers, that means you support the purge. I don't know if you'd want to publicly let your neighbors know that you're completely fine with them butchering you.
Display those flowers proudly, folks, okay?
If you wanna die.
Anyway, Wonderkin James comes home to his wife, Queen Cersei of House Lannister, first of her name, Queen of the Andals and the First Men, protector of the Seven Kingdoms, chopping up for food. She's chopping up food.
Something smells good.
You annoy me right now.
And the fake doctor on the TV says, actually, the purge is healthy as food even. Maybe.
The denial of our true penis we all have inside of us is the problem.
Upstairs, their daughter, Zoe, makes out with her hot, legally too old boyfriend.
Let's growl.
What?
Oh boy. I hope he's being safe and has studied Transformers Age of Extinction.
What? Texas statue?
Because if not, he'd better wait until Purge officially starts before he plunders her loins.
Someone's getting ready for the night.
Okay, I'll admit, it's pretty cool that there's a loophole for everything in this society. America has been made very great indeed.
I mean, it's my American right to do it.
But because Zoe is a prude who has apparently never even seen Transformers Age of Extinction,
What?
Zoe kicks her boyfriend out before the purge because she doesn't want him caught by her dad, who hates the whole him being a legal adult while she is still a legal child thing.
It's all fine.
Anyway, James and Cersei have another kid named Charlie. I don't know if he's seen Transformers Age of Extinction, but he's made a dead baby robot that is perfect for looking up skirts. So it seems like he has. That's the kind of thing you do after a session of a couple of Transformers. You're like, what if I made a robot that could look up a skirt? More than meets the eye.
I've set my laser from stun
To come. What?
This whole family is incredibly rich, as evidenced by their multiple ketchup bottles. So you'd think that this family could afford to purchase a non-burned up freaky-ass baby doll, but that wouldn't be very Blumhouse, would it? Anyway, Charlie's Goonie baby bot can be driven remotely from Charlie's secret hidey hole that he shares with Chekhov. He's roommates with Chekhov in there. That night at dinner, they choke down their healthy food and talk penises.
Don't forget to thank the Lord for this bountiful penis!
Eating dinner. No
Yeah,
penis.
come on, Zoe,
It's
there's
a little
nothing.
funny.
Thank God it wasn't vice versa. Choking down penises and talking food? No. That's a bad dinner.
That's a bad combo.
After
Penis.
dinner, they realize, oh my God, look at the time. People about to purge. So they activate the house's security systems, but I would have activated them like hours, if not days before. What if somebody snuck in pre-purge? Like, I don't know, let's say Zoe's boyfriend, Henry. Oh, hi, Henry.
Jesus, Henry.
He snuck in and wants to plunder her suddenly legal crotch, but says, no, I can't. I'm here for your dad.
I came to see your father.
What?
Oh, that's a twist. Also, in his defense, her dad is Ethan Hawke.
Hey, honey, I'm home.
Oh, that's crazy.
Oh, no, he just means he wants to talk to her dad? Pfft, lame. Now, if I was a boyfriend, I'd be worried about the fact that my girlfriend's dad could literally just murder me now without legal consequences on this particular night. But thankfully, Cersei and James don't participate, much to Charlie's confusion.
Why don't you guys do it? Because we don't feel the need to, Charlie.
They're still allies for the PURGE community, though. I mean, they've got flowers and everything. They have, like, rainbow pins that say, murder. They're like, it's okay for you to do. Like, I don't mind. But I'm not you know.
I'm not a violent sociopath.
Here are the Purge rules, by the way, in case you're curious. Presumably, you can't use a nuclear bomb on your boss's house, nor the White House at all, and it's like, what can you do?
Am I allowed to say?
No.
What are the rules? And what is that bowl of dominoes for? Are those class 4 weapons? Or are they under? Also, if it ends at 7 a.m., does that mean Hawaii is still purging like 6 hours after New Yorkers have wiped off the blood and gone to work? Or do they have to start at like 1 p.m. and end at 1 a.m.? That seems like a much less convenient time for a murder spree. Like, do they have to take off work to go kill people? And if the time works on a rolling basis, could somebody presumably just road trip across America, murdering along the way, and actually get in a few extra purges? What about the U.S. territories? American Samoa doesn't have congressional representation. What's their purge status?
Now I'm just confused and I don't know what the hell to say.
These are important questions, and if you don't like me asking them, you are gonna hate this video. If you're one of these people that like Googled Purge recap or something, and you've clicked on this for some reason, I'm sorry. This video is a lot weirder than what you were hoping for.
It's all fine.
Regardless, the Purge abstinent parents act like it's just another normal night where everybody butchers each other in the streets.
Then we should watch a movie later with the kids.
But not them, even though they're fine with it. I mean, they would be fine if you butchered them, but they're not gonna butcher. They don't butcher, but if you butcher, but don't butcher elsewhere.
I do what I want.
But Charlie sees an injured homeless dude running around on the security monitors, and Charlie, being an idiot, opens the security system so the guy can come inside. This kid would not survive in a vampire movie. You don't invite them in.
So hit me.
James closes the security doors, but as he confronts the guy with his revolver, Henry reveals that by talking, he meant and everything just goes to shit. The guy gets away to hide somewhere else in the house while Zoe and Henry hide upstairs, and James, Cersei, and Charlie reconvene in the security room. James goes to find Zoe, but he neglects to bring the shotgun that we know he owns. I mean, as far as I can tell, he doesn't even reload the revolver. Not a long-term planner, this guy.
It's all fine.
If I had a boyfriend hiding in my house, I'd have 2 shotguns. Just I'd be reloading. I'd be driving my motorcycle room to room. Henry would be so dead.
Henry has a gun!
Anyway, he's not a long-term planner, and I think the movie is just sending a message about just living in the moment, you know, go with the flow.
Do not miss the opportunity!
And because it's the Purge, it's technically not dumb, because you can do whatever you want. It's Purge night. Any choice you make is the right choice. Nobody can tell you otherwise. It's Purge night.
I really want to say the N-word.
Of course, it's no big deal anyway, because James has already training dayed Henry to death.
Henry is dead.
Now, you know, technically,
necrophilia is not my thing.
I wasn't gonna say. I was gonna say something else. Shut up, Christian. Go back to your pleasure dungeon and my previous video. Zoe sort of apologizes for the whole having an adult boyfriend who tried to murder her dad thing.
Then why would he do that?
It's time to straighten this out.
But then she also buggers off to hide, I guess.
Zoe!
But whatever, there are bigger things to deal with as a bunch of young, rich weirdos in masks show up.
We are some fine, young, very educated assholes.
And demand the release of the homeless guy who, by the way, they were totally fairly murdering earlier.
And your blue flowers tell me that you support the Purge.
Oh, you saw those.
And they don't want to murder fellow rich people, so just give them to us to finish murdering. And if you don't, we're going to get some supplies.
You have until our provisions arrive. Provisions which will help us break into your elegant home.
I brought provisions.
Which seems like a lot more time consuming than, I don't know, finding another homeless guy. This is Andy Reid levels of mismanaging the game clock.
We've gotten gussied up in almost terrifying guises.
We've just got to do a better job.
Their leader concludes by saying what I always say when my friends and I have eaten way too much CC's buffet pizza.
Please just let us purge, as we do every year.
This is bleeding.
And to be clear, that's not a bulimia joke, that's a poop joke. We keep things classy here. Anyway, then the masked people cut the power and they frolic in the front lawn, and James is like, is this a bad time to admit that the security system that I sold to ourselves isn't really built to withstand a coordinated attack?
Is it impenetrable? No, nothing's impenetrable.
Except our love for each other.
Never mind, forget it. Let's just go find the homeless guy and ask him if he's willing to go outside to get murdered, so these kind young folks can purge. Charlie, however, uses his baby bot to try and look up the homeless guy's skirt. But once Charlie realizes that he's wearing jeans, he instead decides to direct that guy to his special hidey hole. But of course, Zoe also knows about Charlie's special secret hole.
I'm going to go hide in your secret
tight butthole. And oops, now she's being held at gunpoint by the homeless guy. And that's why you never enter a hole without first making sure that there aren't any desperate homeless people inside first. I learned that the hard way when I dressed up as Pennywise for Halloween last year.
Into the hole, let's go.
Well, down here. James shows up and there's a standoff, but then Cersei sneaks up from behind and there's a scuffle.
Shoot it, Mary, shoot it! Please, Mary, help me!
And Zoe and the homeless guy both get KO'd. They tie the homeless guy up because he's a bit of a struggler.
Hey! All right, I got him.
I would like to bite that lip.
And no, again, shut up, Christian. They also poke him in his wound a bunch.
Do it, Mary, do it! Press on his wound! I need you, Mary! Mom, stop!
But this makes Cersei be like, we used to not stab homeless people, but now we do?
When did this happen?
Like 5 minutes ago.
And James is like, hey, not the time, babe. They're about to murder our whole family. But then Zoe is like, I also don't think we should kill the homeless man. And we already know where Charlie stands on all this. And it's like, God, being a dad is hard.
Nothing is ever going to be okay again.
It's hard being a father.
I should know. I have 3 kids and none of them like it when I murder. But how the hell else am I supposed to get them food? I mean, unless you support me on Patreon, of course. I'll stop murdering.
It's hard being a father.
Anyway, the homeless guy eventually says what Dave has never said to me, which is, okay, fine, yeah, just kill me, save your kids.
Take me outside.
Tear my ass apart, Holmes.
But James has a change of heart and is like, no, actually, let us save you. We won't untie you or give you a way to protect yourself, but we will save you. It'll be fine. I am a #1 salesman.
We're gonna
So James and Cersei grab the rest of their guns, tell Charlie to hide in the basement with the revolver, and say nothing to Zoe because she is like an unruly cat who cannot be wrangled. She's just constantly disappearing.
James, where's Zoe?
I don't know.
But who needs her when Cersei is going pistols akimbo? I can never convince my wife to go pistols akimbo. It's probably the worst part of our marriage. We are constantly being home invaded. And she won't dual wield pistols to fight back. It's crazy. Hey, speaking of, masked people rip off the front door with a truck.
Release the beast, boys!
And they giggle and they frolic and they smash through the house, possibly because one of them just told a hilarious off-screen joke.
And she says, no, but that's a real nice ski mask.
And this is called character building. They like immediately grab Charlie, so that was a bad plan.
They got him.
But it's cool because Daddy saves him. But then Daddy is forced to fight a weird-ass couple by finally utilizing his shotgun. Oh, and he kills a third guy, too. And then he double taps everybody.
Don't get all stingy with your bullets.
And man, their love life must be crazy. James and Cersei must play Call of Duty like every night. And this is confirmed when Daddy just gets wrecked by a knife from the lead bad boy. Knives are OP in Call of Duty. You're wearing body armor. Cersei, for her part, gets attacked by an Area 51 pop-up enemy and has really plenty of time to shoot. But she fails to do so and is attacked. But then yet another interested party shows up and shoots her would-be killers.
What are the odds?
I know. Turns out it's one of the other rich couples in the neighborhood. Oh, and then shotgun-wielding bad boy shows up but gets shot by Zoe.
A nation reborn.
Which is, I think, at least the 5th time now somebody has shown up from behind to change a tense situation. Henry technically saved the homeless guy. Mommy saved Zoe.
Shoot it, Mary, shoot it!
Daddy saved Charlie. The neighbor saved Mommy. And now Zoe saved everybody. Wow. Feels like we're maybe relying on that a little too much, huh? Well, let's hope that there's one more left because the rich people are like, hey, by the way, we only killed the people killing you because we want to kill you because you made us mad by selling us all these security systems and making money from it.
This neighborhood paid for that new addition on your home.
I mean, nobody forced you to buy the security systems, Grace.
You made so much money off of us, and then you just stuck it in our pussy!
Yeah, by selling things. He didn't bamboozle you. What was he supposed to do? Give away goods and services that are vital to maintaining life for free? Like in communism?
Shut up!
Man, it is too bad that this isn't what the rich are actually like. Like, it'd be nice if they'd maybe fight each other for once, instead of uniting to completely obliterate the middle class and anybody below them.
Let's tie them up. We'll kill them right here.
Great.
Yeah. You know how hard it is to successfully start and run your own company and channel? I do. Patreon, please. Oh. Elon Musk could fund this channel for 1,000 years if he just like slipped and his wallet fell out.
Which is actually quite a silly action in the absence of procreation.
Whatever. They all say a new, scarier version of the Pledge of Allegiance because I guess this movie thinks that in a way this is like real like life. Like it's America for real now. We're like murdering people. But then of course they're attacked from behind? Well, that's a twist. He doesn't kill them all, though, because even though James is fully dead, I mean, he got Call of Duty knife. There's no respawn from that. Cersei has had enough of the killing.
Your call.
And decides to just hold all of her would-be killers at gunpoint until the next day, like until 7 a.m. Eastern time? I don't know. It's 7 a.m. somewhere. She's grown as a person and a character.
Oh, for God's sake, just do it.
Do it.
And it works great. And, you know, they all just hang out and they're just chilling until the end of the purge peacefully until, well, there is one moment where Grace tries something and Cersei breaks her whole face.
Didn't you hear what I said?
Totally broke. There's no face. It's broken. And then that's it. Everybody walks away. And Cersei is like,
Are you going to be okay?
He's like, yeah, I'll be all right. Couldn't she give him like a 20 or something? He's had a bad night. He saved your life.
Thank you.
Just give him a 20 like stuffed between his butt cheeks.
Booyah!
Thank you.
Is that legal now? Or is that like a thing that you can only do during the purge? Are they gonna have to wait a year now to stuff some money in his butt crack? I don't know all the rules. What are the rules? I mean, could she offer to give him a ride home? Oh, that's right. My bad. He doesn't have a home. That's his whole thing. Oops.
That's his whole thing.
He's like, bye. She's like, see ya. And it's like, where is he even going? I feel like I would be like, can I have some pancakes or something? It's just like, you're very rich.
Does anyone have a problem with that?
Yeah, whatever. That's definitely a movie. But wouldn't a more interesting movie be about what happens the day after all this purging?
Yes. No.
The purge is all about escaping legal consequences, but it can't save you from the social backlash. Like, you have to spend the other 364 days living and working with people who revealed themselves to be freaking psychopaths.
Relax, it's just good old neighborhood.
Senseless wholesale slaughter.
Also, side note, you mean to tell me that in a situation like the one we just witnessed, these neighbors are all going to be peacefully living in the same neighborhood with nobody thinking they might need to finish the job mid-year?
Hi!
Ooh, cookies.
At the very least, those neighbors are presumably going to spend the next 364 days planning how to finish the job next purge, right? Would you feel comfortable living around those people?
Are people really saying that?
I mean, at the lowest level, they're going to be really sassy when you walk past them. You know, they're going to say some very cutting remarks. They're just not going to be nice to be around.
You're too sensitive.
It seems more likely that the real estate market would go nuts.
And then that happens.
Because you sure as hell wouldn't want to keep living next to the neighbors who tried to slow stab your children.
You're too sensitive.
Forget this specific scenario. What happens when you go back to the office and see your shy receptionist, Kathy, who the night before gutted 7 old people just to feel alive? Do you just go, like, on with the project meeting as if she's not wearing a necklace made out of their ears and penises? It seems like her actions would get instantly used by even the most mild of office adversaries. Oh, that's a great suggestion for the company picnic venue, Kathy. Now, let's hear from somebody who did butcher 7 old people last weekend. But before that, this is a reminder that it's everyone's responsibility to keep the break room clean, even if they slaughtered 7 local grandparents in front of their families, Kathy. And what about about all the almost kills or partial kills? Partial kills probably not a thing. I got partially killed yesterday. There are other ways to say that. Damn, I got partially killed when I sprained my ankle earlier. I'm closer to death than I was. Would anyone really feel comfortable saying good morning to someone whose legs they cut off the night before, or who barely escaped their Purge Night machine gun rampage? Well, hey, Carl, how's that new wheelchair? I hope it goes fast, because I'm coming back next year to finish the job. And that's only the murder part. What happens to all the sex offenders, like Henry, rest in peace? Like, look, Graham, we know that by Purge law, the things you did yesterday were legal, but I'm afraid the kids aren't okay learning from a man who kept their parents in cages while he danced the Macarena. Anyway, Graham, you're fired. Actually, are you even allowed to fire people for the things that they did during the Purge? If not, is there a legal organization to fight wrongful Purge-related terminations? Is it assumed that every boss would be dead after each Purge anyway, and the question is never going to get raised?
Hopefully.
Anyone worried about wrongful termination could simply wait 364 days and fire problematic employees on Purge night. But wait, could a racist boss fire all the minorities during the Purge? Could they rewrite the company's HR policies to allow groping?
Sorry.
Could they take all the pensions and burn the place down? Also, wouldn't your life insurance policy have about 1 million complicated clauses concerning where the money goes in case your wife purges you? What about sports? Raiders fans are basically one step away from purgers in real life right now.
That's our hardest competition right there, is trying to get around them.
You think a group of determined Red Sox fans aren't going after the Yankees starting lineup every Purge night? It just goes on and on. Kind of like this franchise. This just in, a shocking mid-Purge development. The new Founding Fathers, for the first time ever, have added a new rule to this year's Purge. Our reporter on the scene has more.
Actually, I killed that guy. He was here, but now he's dead. So, you're never gonna learn what it is.
That dog doesn't want anything to do with me. He wants to sniff your ass.
You're disgusting.
It's true.
Fast forward a year, and things aren't really going that great because unemployment is now below 5%, which would be pretty good, except last movie they made a big deal about how it was at 1%. That is, unemployment has apparently gotten 4 or 5 times worse in just a single year.
Quick math.
And trust me, when things go from 1 to 5, they tend to get a lot more complicated. I know, because I have 3 children and a wife.
I'm married. Allegedly.
And it used to be just me. Please sign up for my Patreon so that we can get the eldest back from the pawn shop.
Boom.
But hey, at least this lady is one of the 95% employed, even though she doesn't seem that pumped about it. She's so distraught, in fact, that she doesn't even let this patron sniff her butthole?
He wants to sniff your ass.
Ugh.
You're disgusting.
Prude?
Yo, baby, you have your ass licked by a fat man in an overcoat?
And hey, speaking of buttholes, it's that guy who had a monkey go inside and outside his butthole in Bruce Almighty. And as you might expect, the intervening years have not been kind.
Oh, well, it could be better.
And he's currently drunk off his monkey expanded ass. Waitress lady named Ava heads upstairs where her daughter, Callie, watches anti-purge propaganda from a kind of a Black Panthers-esque organization that is explicitly anti-gun while also explicitly calling for the murder of rich people, which is a little confused, but you know.
E for effort!
Where'd you find this lunatic?
Also, Ava's dad is there and he's grumpy.
Horse.
Because he's a mean old Grinch who doesn't like celebrating mass murder night.
I'm sorry I'm so grumpy, girls.
They should really remake the Grinch, but it's like a guy who doesn't support the Purge. Like, oh, the Who's down in Whoville, butchering each other, and I don't like it. But I bet that by the end of this movie, someone's heart is gonna grow 3 sizes through repeated blunt trauma. Also, he's sick and needs meds and also beds because he's gonna take a nap now.
I'm sorry I'm so
sleepy.
Except, oops, Daddy's a sneaky old man. He sneaks outside and sneaks into a limo, which sneakily sneaks him to a rich people's house. A rich people's house. I'm gonna leave it. Where he'll be murdered during the Purge, but then $100,000 will be wired to his daughter. I guess the idea is that rich people want to murder people. Obviously, it's their right as Americans.
Right now, you guys are treading all over me!
But they don't want to have to go outside, obviously, because Americans don't go outside. so they DoorDash poor people to their front door to get viciously murdered inside. Hey, did you know that in real life the gig economy is extremely unsafe and bafflingly underregulated? Did you know I don't have a job? That's unfortunate that those things are both true. Gig work is hard. That's all we got.
What are the odds?
I know. Hey, weird question. Is murdering random old men all that fun?
Yes. No.
I'm gonna ask you that, Dave. Is it even fun to murder random? What do you get out of it?
Sleepy.
Does it really purge you of being angry or whatever? Like, I could sort of understand getting even with people or slapping your boss or what. Dave, don't think about it. But this just seems lame. It's hard to imagine you're like, I've had a bad week. I want to just kill an old man who has no connection to me at all.
Kill a man! Kill a man!
And I'm gonna spend $100,000 to do it. Maybe I'll murder Dave later and let you guys know how I feel about it.
Maybe David deserved it.
My purge is like eating a bunch of cookie dough.
You're like in the street just downing cookie dough, and you're like, I can do this!
I'm allowed to.
Yeah, my mom can't stop me now. I don't know. I mean, are purge contracts even enforceable? Can't they just be like, lol, I'm not paying you shit? But whatever, Ava and Callie have bigger problems because the purge officially begins and Ano Grande breaks in with a shotgun and is like, you guys never have sex with me, so I'm gonna have sex with you now. It's my right as an American with a butthole the size of a white-headed capuchin.
I'm gonna be pussy.
My right! But before he can get to sexing, a bunch of SWAT team-looking commandos bust down the door, shoot him a bunch with terrible CG blood effects, and then drag the women outside for somebody else's.
Big Daddy, we have 2 for your personal purge.
Now that I get. That makes sense. Okay. Uh-oh. Rewind a bit, because we've got a second character who's named something probably, but I don't think they ever really say, and I don't care. I'm going to call him Frank Grillo. Because in every movie with Frank Grillo's character is usually quite Frank Grillo-esque.
And I'm Italian.
Frank's loading guns and pointing guns, and he's clearly about to get his purge on as revenge for his dead son, whose killer got off on a legal technicality. This is kind of what's known as a The Punisher plot, right down to being done by a dude named Frank. No. And this, despite his ex-wife being like,
don't do this.
Come on, man, don't do that. My guy, just eat a pie or something.
It won't make you feel any better.
Man, just like an ex-lover character to try to get the main character to not do the cool badass thing that would make the movie happen. No, Mary Jane, I'm not gonna not Spider-Man because then we won't have a very fun movie, will we? I must make the sticky. That's who I am. You know that.
I can't do this.
Every third Daredevil scene is like, Daredevil, stop getting in these sick, like, one-shot hallway fights. And it's like, shut up, lady. Like,
I don't want to stop.
There's no tension in it because obviously there's no world in which he just says, okay.
I want to stop.
This has been Daredevil, thanks. I will say, basically every superhero sequel, Spider-Man 2, all these second ones, usually revolve around the superhero trying to not superhero for a little bit. Like, Mary Jane is like, you want some of this, you have to give up that. And he's like, okay.
Peter Parker.
Part of the character plot for all these movies, or the character arc, is just like, can I convince my nagging wife to just let me go beat up dudes in the street? And she's like, my character arc is accepting that, yes, my husband Jeff can go just beat the shit out of, well, homeless old people, I guess. The Purge. Full circle.
Great.
Yeah. Anyway, once the Purge begins, Frank just starts driving to his target's house, but he doesn't get very far before witnessing Ava and Callie getting dragged to a truck with a chain gun guy in the back. And despite his better judgment, Frank decides to help by murdering everybody. From experience, I can say that this is never a wise move. Last time I murdered an entire SWAT team, it became this like whole thing. And then I got fired and now I'm here. That's why I left crack. They were like my nagging wife. They couldn't handle me murdering entire SWAT teams. My wife eventually came around. Not crack though. Rip. I died? I will say, after my controversial video where I mentioned that I'm happy to be even just a small footnote on the Wikipedia page, I have since been scrubbed from it.
Oh shit, dude. The Joseph Stalin.
I know, they like eradicated my history. Isn't that crazy? At some point, somehow, the video started again. I don't know how. I don't know who did it, but I died? Anyway, Frank succeeds and tells the women that they can tag along with him while he murders a guy if they want. Could be fun. I don't know. As my granny always says, always squeeze into the muscle car of the guy with the biggest gun during Gunmageddon. And to freshen up my drink, Jordan, Granny's headed to target practice later. But when he gets to his car, he realizes, oh shit, what the hell? Two people have snuck into the back, which means, oh shit, a third storyline? Triple the budget means triple the storylines. They should have saved that shit for part 3, baby. Wow, they're really blowing their wad. Rewind again. So earlier, this couple is driving out of town, but they're kind of testy with each other.
So you're calling me a liar?
I ain't calling you a truther.
Because they've sort of agreed to separate, although Mr. Midnight Usher over here has some doubts.
Just say you changed your mind, not that we didn't come to a joint decision.
They stop for a few pre-purge groceries, but the one boy, Shane, is bumped into by a masked skateboarder. It's like, whoa there, my guy.
What's that all about?
Is skateboarding legal pre-purge? What about loitering? Can he even do a McTwist?
Do a kickflip!
Can people play Tony Hawk's Purge skater in this universe?
Kick a do-flip.
Whatever, they hop back in the car, but don't get very far before it stops running because, oops! The gang cut their, the car wires. I'm not much of a car head or a motor man, as they say at the chop shop.
Chop shop.
Drop a top and hit the highway and ride out.
See, this is exactly why we need to tell your sister that we're separating.
But anyway, the car cutting thing is definitely a crime that happened pre-purge, and I think some of this crime being non-existent claim is exaggerated, since there are certain crimes that just are never going to get reported because the victims are legally murdered soon after. Like, the wires get cut, nobody prosecutes because then they use that time to murder them later or whatever. So I bet there's like a bunch of crimes that happen that just never get reported, and they're like, I think there's no crime. I'm looking at this sea of bodies in downtown Brooklyn, and, I think all of those were totally above board.
Objection.
But whatever, the skateboarding gang arrives, so the soon-to-separate lovers run away on foot until eventually, they find Frank's car and they hide in it rather than steal it, despite them sitting in the back of the car watching him, like, murder an entire SWAT team.
What is going on out there?
I hope he'll be nice to us. You know? It's like, I don't think you should hide in this car. You think this guy's gonna be mad? Frank has very defined arm muscles.
Maybe he'll be tired out by the time he
Yeah, maybe he'll be
Sleepy.
Oh my god, I can't kill another guy tonight.
I am poop.
But hey, now all 3 stories have converged, and Frank doesn't have time to kick the cuties out because Chain Gun Charles didn't actually die, and he's actively shooting at their car as they peel out.
Man versus a car.
Nobody's injured except for the car. That's a chop shop term. When your car's injured, you wouldn't get it. And it forces this thrown together little family to take to the streets. Ava claims
I have a friend in the city.
She totally has a car.
I can get you a car.
I want a ticket to anywhere.
And if Frank can get them
to anywhere,
you can take her car
to go do his murder thing.
I want that car.
Before time runs out. And Frank's like, sounds good, but it's gonna be a little tricky to pull off because Goofish Shane immediately steps in a trap.
Get off of me, I'm stuck.
it's a trap.
And they learn that the SWAT team is actually government-sanctioned murder squads, which target poor people apartment complexes, which is actually the most realistic part of this story so far. And also, they end up in a subway that's full of flamethrower guys. I don't know a lot about subways. I don't know if that's normal. Like, are there always flamethrower guys down there? Anyway, they're having a lot of problems, basically. But thankfully, Shane shoots his foot free of the trap, and they stay one step ahead of the government, and Shane actually stands his ground with his wife, whose name Liz, by the way. They shoot the flamethrower guy right in his gas tank, and he goes... But Shane is also shot in the process. But he survives, and they all make it to the apartment, and man, who even needs Frank when you've got the man who led the Dillon Panthers to a state title?
Right.
I can't even imagine separating from him.
But I still think we should tell your sister.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Liz, are you sure? Liz! Oh, Shane shot a guy and he exploded! You don't separate from that.
I think we need to make it real.
Maybe I don't want to make you real.
That was real. Anyway, there are a bunch of people in this apartment, and they are all living their best life. They're just drinking wine, and they're popping pills, and oh, they're shooting each other. Ooh, and they're having affairs, I guess.
I read all your emails, you cheating motherfuckers.
But at least they have a car, right? Right, Ava?
There is no car.
Oh, man. Oh, God. Oh, man.
No, of course not. They don't. So I guess we're back on foot, running through the streets, which is less than ideal because another SWAT team has shown up. They escape over a fence only to get grabbed by the roving Walmart skateboarding gang from earlier. Turns out they're not actually purging anymore. What they're now doing is their gig economy work.
Just need money.
It's a metaphor. And they're grabbing and selling pores to rich people.
Well, that's just a metaphor, kids. It's not! Money!
But unlike Daddy from the beginning, our heroes are sold to a whole gaggle of rich people. Man, it is so hard to convince me to go out to a party in normal times. I can't imagine if the selling point was like, hey man, we're all going out to murder poor people.
Ooh, that's bad.
And also keep in mind that literally every single person at the party could also murder you.
That's bad.
Or do really any horrible thing that they want with zero legal repercussion.
That's bad.
And we're all disgustingly rich.
That's good.
And we could probably pull it off.
That's good.
Anyway, I think it'll be great. They might have Frogurt.
The Frogurt is also cursed.
That's bad.
You want to come with us? I don't know. I might stay in. No, we're gonna butcher so many people, dude. Yeah, I got some work stuff.
I've been waiting all evening for your participation.
Anyway, the whole idea is for $200,000, these rich people get a chance to hunt these poor people in a dark warehouse, which, okay, that actually sounds more fun than just stabbing some old guy in my living room with my mom. But this is kind of like paintball. I like paintball. Dave and I used to play paintball a lot as kids. And your mom said I couldn't come in the house with a paintball gun. For no reason. Everybody thought I was the bad kid. I didn't do anything. I mean, you know the story, but we'll say it for the internet. I came over to Dave's house once. We were like 15, 16, and there was no parents around. So our other friend's mom tells my friend, if Jordan goes crazy, just call me and say that you need lunch, and I'll know what that means. Like, what am I gonna do? I've never done anything. I had never even tasted beer until I was 21. I have never done any drugs. The only cigarettes I smoked were for a $20 movie video where I was Vision. What's fucking madness? Like, I get that I'm high energy, sort of. I'm gonna yell at your mom after this. I'm gonna kick down the door. Why did you think I was cool?
Sorry.
Dave and I used to play a lot of paintball as kids, and we also murdered a guy once. High school was great. Like, the only thing, like, if you have to pick a thing that doesn't seem so great about this whole murdering poor people setup is the fact that, well, the poor people, though unarmed and without night vision, can technically fight back. And weirdly, the situation is shockingly uncontrolled, given that these people are paying $200,000 to play. That's like if the people who paid all that money to spend a night in the Star Wars Space Hotel got harassed and attacked by freaking actual Nazi stormtroopers. Thanks for coming to our hotel. Just so you know, they have actual laser guns, and they will kill you. So buckle up. I hope you enjoy your stay. Let me know if you need a mint. Call me if you need lunch. Like, you'd think for all this money, you could expect a little more customer support. Feels like you'd want, I don't know, safeguard snipers posted around in case it looks like one of your paying customers ends up in real danger. But they don't. So of course Frank sneaks around and immediately kills one rich and then another before he's attacked by two girls with glorified knives. And it's like, ladies, come on. Even in a best case scenario, any dude you're attacking now has a real fighting chance if we're gonna use melee weapons. And indeed, Frank shows them the business.
It's business time.
Frank brings some night vision glasses and weapons back to the group, and then even Liz gets a kill.
Way to go, Liz!
And it's like, I really think you guys should have just played paintball. Imagine how much fun $200,000 worth of a paintball experience would be. You could buy a really nice house and just trash it. It'd be like a Mr. Beast video. That would be so much fun. And you probably wouldn't be shot to death by anybody's soon-to-be ex-wife. That's a plus. Finally, the rich people are like, this is not going how it usually does. So they do send in a bunch of reinforcements or whatever. And yeah, they end up immediately separating Shane from his wife and also Shane from his life.
I love you. I need you to know.
Shane! Ah! So here's a question. If you and your wife were about to separate, and then your wife died, would you tell people that you were about to break up, or would you just preserve that part of her memory?
Depends how much my friends love drama.
But when all hope seems lost, the anti-purgers show up. Anti-purr? We'll workshop it. And hey, one of them is the homeless guy from the first movie. That's fun. But unfortunately,
the use of explosives higher than Class 4 is prohibited on Purge Night.
I can't believe you went above Class 4. That's against the rules. Don't you care about the rules? And apparently not, because they're like,
change only comes when their blood spills.
And I genuinely cannot tell if I'm supposed to agree with them or not. Like, yes, the Purge isn't great, but also massacring people is bad too. I mean, that's what I believe anyway. And it's even more confusing when Liz now says,
I want to purge.
To get revenge for sweet, sweet Shane. So, am I supposed to support that?
Way to go, Liz!
It's literally the opposite of the spousal murder resolution of the first movie. I guess what I'm saying is it's very unclear if I'm supposed to want to kill people in real life or not. Can somebody just tell me if I can murder in a morally justifiable way? In the comments, maybe? Like and subscribe?
Get ready to bleed, rich ass!
We'll see, bitch.
Anyway, Frank and the ladies commandeer a car from the old lady MC, and they drive to Frank's target's house, and he's like, yeah,
the owner of that house killed my son.
After a few too many margaritas.
That bastard's blood alcohol level was 3 times the legal limit.
Oh my god, I am so drunk.
What the hell was that?
The girls are like, yeah, that does suck that your son is all flat now, but you don't really need to kill his killer, my guy. But Frank's like, well,
2 weeks ago I came here and I disabled his back barricade.
Which sounds like a hot euphemism, but is instead just a normal crime again that nobody's gonna be able to report when the guy dies. These numbers are skewed. Anyway, he breaks in and threatens people with knives for a bit and then walks outside where he's shot twice by the chain gun guy who's like,
gotcha, bitch!
We found your car, Sergeant.
I guess he's a sergeant. And he confirms that, yeah, the government has to kill people on Purge Night.
Unfortunately, the citizens aren't killing enough.
Which is a decently interesting political take on the like, hey, the government hates poor people and kills them with bad policies, which is kind of like using a chain gun. And then, of course, right before he kills Frank, he is shockingly shot by somebody else. What are the odds? Of course, it's the drunk guy who Frank didn't actually kill in the house because, oh, what a sweetheart.
Man, I'm glad I called that guy.
But then commando guys come up and the ladies grab guns, but oops, time is up.
Time up.
When they rush Frank to the hospital to presumably save his life, but they let the DUI guy drive. Which seems like a bad idea. Like the last time he drove didn't go great.
What the hell was that?
I mean, we're all here to murder you because of how badly you drive. And you guys see any kids or anything? I really try to not hit those now.
That would be my purge thing. I would ride on a horse drunk, which is technically illegal.
You could do it in Virginia. You think anybody's gonna find you?
Happily ever after.
But anyway, he does manage to get them to the hospital without running over any small children. And man, it must suck to work the post-purge shift at the hospital. I bet that is a busy day.
Fantastic.
We're now going to take a brief pause from our coverage of the annual night where we all murder each other in the streets to go to our political correspondent, Michael Swaim, who is in the field right now. Michael?
Michael Swaim here, reporting from inside my minimum security garage. I think I'll be all right. To be honest, I kind of forgot that there was also an election today. So remember, your two choices are a bleeding heart liberal who doesn't support the wholesale slaughter of civilians and a pretty mainline conservative who does. But in our crazy purge world, if you don't kill your neighbors, the country literally falls apart. Doesn't make any sense, but voting is somehow very important and the only way to enact real change. So make sure to head to your nearest polling place, all of which I can see through these CCTVs right here. Don't go to that one. That one looks like a blood orgy. Ooh, that one seems dangerous. You know what? You'll figure it out. Go, vote and live. Or die. Either way, vote.
Thank you, Michael. Wow, politics is hard.
I'm not paying attention. I'm thinking about waffles and pussy.
We get a few butt-ripping riffs over the production stingers, eventually revealed to be part of a Purge Party playlist.
My Purge playlist.
From a purger purging with an entire tortured, brutalized family.
With some really killer tunes.
His song selection is yet another boring example of haha, this song doesn't fit the intensity of the scene. What a wacky choice. That happens in basically every action or horror movie these days.
You like Huey Lewis on the news?
And also, his voice is weirdly clear.
The king of Mommy's.
He's wearing a mask. It feels like it should be a little more muffled.
No one cared who I was until
I can't hear what you're saying.
Also, I'll get into this later, but they're not great at casting good, crazy actors in this series.
I'm crazy.
Feels like a bunch of tryhards, like, ooh, I'm so wacky because I listen to funk music while I murder?
I put a lot of thought into it.
Kinky.
But anyway, that was 18 years ago in 2022, and now I guess it's 2040, and yet there is literally nothing that would make you think that's the case.
This is just one of a dozen protests around our capital.
We do that already.
Shouldn't we have built millions of anatomically correct Dave bots for us to purge our violent and sexual frustrations on by now?
Sorry.
That I'm a machine.
I'm personally like 6 months away from a prototype. It's just hard to replicate Dave's 4 buttholes. The science can't do all your buttholes yet, but it'll get there.
Tight butthole. Thank God for science.
But no, technology is basically exactly the same. Well, except for the fact that the homeless guy from the first 2 movies is still alive.
Hello.
And decidedly does not look 17 or 18 years older. What has he been chugging Tuck Everlasting's juice or something?
For some, time passes slowly.
Work the pipe and swallow the gravy.
Or maybe protesting keeps you young, because he's still out here being like, my guys, I hate the Purge. The Purge sucks. I know I've been saying this for like 18 years now, but I think if I say it one more time, they'll get rid of it.
Sound logic.
I know.
And also, by the way, the Purge only exists to kill poor people and make the economy better by not having as much welfare and stuff. And the news is like, damn, this could have implications for the impending presidential cycle.
I guess we'll never know for sure.
But would it?
Senator Roan is proving to be the greatest threat to the NFFA regime since John C.
The Purge has been going on for what, 24 years now? That's a full generation raised believing this is all basically normal, and the main reason they've lived in an ostensibly flourishing economy. In fact, how do we still have poor people? You'd think after 24 years of government-assisted purges...
You can get them out of here. Get out of here.
Oh, right, because I guess the government involvement tidbit never got out.
The big lie.
They'd have successfully eliminated poor people entirely.
Can we do that?
The Hunger Games gets dismantled partially because the vast majority of society is still poor and increasingly less excited to murder the other poor people for the enjoyment of the rich.
I volunteer.
But in the Purge, the killing actively eliminates poverty, at least on a large enough scale to dramatically improve the economy. I would actually think that the biggest problem they'd have would be the declining population numbers and nobody really available to kill for fun anymore because barely anybody is too poor or defenseless to be an easy Purge target anymore.
But we have people that are stupid.
Like, if anything, the threshold for poor would just climb higher and higher until eventually anyone who wasn't a billionaire would be considered fair game for the government death squads during the Purge, underscoring that modern capitalist society can only function as long as there remains an underclass to exploit, because anyone driving a Beamer certainly isn't going to start flipping burgers to replace the minimum wage workers that they purged, which would mix very heavy commentary with gory action and elevating the franchise to new heights.
Oh, gee, you make it sound real nice.
Or it would, but none of that happens. That doesn't happen. What we have instead are apparently murder tourists.
Murder tourists.
Who come in from other countries to murder Americans?
It's downright un-American.
Like, how is that legal?
I will make it legal.
How in the world is that a thing that they're letting happen? Like, Russians can just enter the country, massacre American citizens, and then go home?
Get your ass to Master Rush.
How does that help the economy? What's to stop foreign governments from taking advantage of the situation to just brutally thin out the American population every year? Are you here for business or pleasure? Oh, I'm here to kill everybody in your city. Well, come on in!
Get in, loser. We're going.
Killing again.
Russians should stay home and kill Americans the old-fashioned way, by stochastic terrorism through the spread of disinformation on the internet.
I've had it with all these idealistic pigs.
Excuse me.
I'm just saying, don't fix what's not broken. But one of the people getting tortured in 2022 is this now senator / former Mrs. Claus named Charlie.
Oh, please, Charlie, not you too.
Hold on.
Because the writers are already out of unique name ideas for this franchise.
We're Alan and Alan and Alan and Alan and Alan.
Oh, shit. What about Charlie? You mean the son from the first movie? It's too late. It's in my head and I can't get it out.
Not enough to go around.
We got Ava. We got Charlie. We got Charlie. What do you think?
Charlie.
Charlie is campaigning on a platform to end the purge, but like, good luck.
They want the impossible.
As I've said, the economy is still pretty great, lady. We don't just vote out incumbents because of their morals or whether they espouse heinous crimes or want to bang their daughter.
If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
Right to jail.
This is America, sweetheart. We're not electing pastors. We're electing pieces of shit.
Is the that close?
But hey, at least the people respect her.
Tell you this much. She got them little titties, but she got some big ass balls.
What a respectful thing to say, deli store owner Joe. Do her political opponents also respect her so respectfully?
Is the that close?
Wow, I guess so.
Nobody respects women more than I do.
They respect her so much, in fact, that they changed the purge rules this year so that anybody can get massacred.
To diversity and inclusiveness.
Even politicians. The new founding fathers are doing this so they can kill their political opponents like Charlie, which is something that I can't believe they've never felt obligated to do in the past 2.5 decades. But again, good economy.
The best economy.
When the economy's good, Americans only worry about 2 things.
Waffles and pussy.
And also, wait. Now that definitely means Russians are going to send a bunch of KGB guys to assassinate the American president and be like, whoops, you said it was totally legal. Okay, fine, good time. No take backsies. All your waffles and pussy belong to Putin now.
Well, if them's the rules.
Ah, damn it.
Golden brown.
Whatever. Here's Charlie again, and look at that. Her head of security is Frank, who has also definitely not aged 17 years from the last movie.
That's like a 10-year-old boy.
We'll keep it tight.
Is this series operating under X-Men rules?
This is crap. Do I have to listen to this?
As it is almost purge night, Frank tries to get Charlie to hide in a bunker or something, but she's like, no, that's cowardly. I can't have people thinking that I'm unfairly protecting myself. So instead, I'd like you to turn my personal home into a fortress and just stuff it with burly men.
Keep it secret.
Make it safe.
That'll show the people that I'm just like them.
I stay home like 99% of the population.
So relatable.
I mean, every time Dave wants to appear like regular folk, he just stuffs his bedroom full of burly men and closes all the blinds. And I'm like, that's a normal guy thing to do. Just a bro.
I want to do that. Oh.
This is a good situation in which you'd have a moat. Like, moats are back.
Moats are back, dude.
But how will you sound from the bottom of me moat?
But back to old respectful Joe for a second.
Hello.
What?
His employee Marcos notices 2 schoolgirls lifting shop, even though I thought crimes don't happen anymore. Is the movie saying that shoplifting is not a crime?
Very progressive.
It'd be very funny if the actual answer was the crime rate has dropped to 0 because we just don't classify most of the things as crimes anymore. Vote for us next year for even more no crimes happening because semantics. Anyway, Joe walks over, but they're actually stopped by apparently famous Laney Rucker.
Laney Rucker?
Who used to be known as Little Death.
Little Death.
Which, fun fact, is a French euphemism for orgasm. Which, second fun fact, I don't think that's the reason her name is that. Though they literally never actually explain it. But it probably is just because she used to go hard on purge nights.
That makes me proud.
Which you would think would be a violent thing, but you could go hard in a lot of different ways on purge night.
Give up the candy or I'll have to take it away from you.
So maybe she was having just little orgasms all over. And they're like, some French guy, probably a French murder tourist, is like, oh, she was having orgasms. You are little deathing on me.
Best death ever.
I sound like the candlestick from Beauty and the Beast. Why are you inserting me inside of you on purge night?
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Later gets extracted at the ER for being stuck in somebody's asshole.
All the way up there?
Dude, that's where I would go on purge night.
In my butt.
I'd just be doing whatever I want to all those anthropomorphic, like, furniture.
Of course, monsieur. You're welcome here.
Oh no, he's going to get me.
Horrible things have happened.
In my butt.
But now, Little Orgasm just works as a sort of unsanctioned nurse who drives around looking for people to help, except, oh, not there. Anyway, the girls leave, but are like, well, there is a night coming up where anything is legal, so I'm gonna get that candy.
You're not you when you're hungry.
And speaking of, the Purge Insurance Company raises Joe's purge rates last second, which is a pretty ballsy move to do to someone that can now legally murder you in like 8 hours.
Yeah, I'm talking to you. Let me speak to your soup. Your soup. No soup for you.
And Joe's like, damn, I guess I'm gonna have to get on the roof and protect my meat myself. I know how people be loving my sandwiches, but hating my prices. Everybody lines up. They're like, your sandwiches are so good, but they're so expensive, I'm gonna friggin' steal them. Marcos joins them and is like, I'd love to help my guy. And Joe is like, no, don't.
I got this.
But then he's like, okay, fine.
What's up with that?
And purge nights are like condoms anyway, you know? They're better when shared.
I'd like to share my dick in your mouth.
Just like Lumiere. Lumiere is best shared when you go butt to butt with Lumiere in the middle. We are burning the wick at both ends. Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Speaking of chillaxing all cool as the world murders each other, after the purge begins, another Charlie guard goes up to Frank and is like, my guy, it's all good now. You can relax.
You know you can relax now, right?
And literally, that's the exact opposite of the truth. This is the main time he needs to be focusing, especially considering
It's that time.
oh no, people on the staff are traitors, and those who aren't are getting plugged in the head. And Frank's Judasy friend lets a bunch of scary commandos inside and gives very detailed instructions on where to find Charlie.
One in the stink?
Or you're like, oh, okay. This house? Is she inside the house? Thanks, friend. Frank realizes what's going on and sneaks Charlie out through an F-hole, a floor hole, and then a window hole. And then Frank kills a few dudes, and it looks like they're in the clear, but then they're not, and Frank gets plugged. That's all good, though, because I guess he rigged his boss's computer to explode? Is that a class 4 explosion? Also, can you imagine if you were playing Candy Crush and accidentally exploded your boss's computer?
Every damn day.
That would be tough to explain on your LinkedIn profile. The weird time to tell you, I put a bomb in your computer, just in case.
Good day to you. The name's O'Rourke.
Why'd it have to be in the computer? It could be anywhere.
Yeah, it could be in the desk. Yeah. Drops her computer. He's like, F***! And she's like, what? He's like, nothing. They get away, but I think some of these commandos might be racist? It's subtle, but I think that's what they're implying. They're running around and a drone follows them because, ooh, it's 2040, I guess. But Frank shoots it because he's like an ageless clone, I guess. But then they're attacked and knocked out by a bunch of mean Russians who are literally about to prove my point. But it turns out that this is happening pretty close to Joey and Marcos, and they clearly hate Russians because they murder the shit out of them. Do we think Marcos is Ukrainian? I'm not good with accents or names.
I'll stay. Nothing else to do.
Our new heroes take our other heroes back to the deli to patch Frank up and yell a bit.
Your feelings are not a concern of mine.
Respect. That's all I need. A little respect.
Until, oh no, the schoolgirls return, just dripping with sexiness and blood.
I want my candy bar.
And again, we strike out with these crazy actors.
Here comes your candy girl!
I don't know. I don't think I would be any better, but nobody's hiring me. So anywhere, really. Crazy actor, normal actor, Wendy's front guy. They said no.
Oh, you'd be Wendy, dude.
No, I'll be David. I'll be like, you're my daughter now, Wendy. Go in. It's me, your daddy, Dave.
Flipping up some square burgers.
Yeah, come here, baby. I'm making you some squares. Some meat squares. Get over here. Dad, what's for dinner? It's meat squares again, every night. Anyway, they start chainsawing their way in, but we don't have to watch for long because Joe has called Little Death and she just obliterates the girls with her medical van before shotgunning 2 more while ripping Bud. It's fun for what it is. I'll give them that. They all hop in the van, which makes Joe sad because there are more lunatics trying to get in the back of the deli because the purge means the American right to free Fritos, but he agrees to leave anyway. They're almost immediately attacked by a helicopter, which, I mean, that's gotta be a class 5 thing, right?
Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
At this point, Russia could just Red Dawn our asses, and as long as they killed everybody within 11 hours and 59 minutes, America, I guess, would just not be allowed to retaliate. Ah, damn. Good game, comrades. I mean, I guess they could retaliate in the sense that you're allowed to defend yourself, generally speaking, but they wouldn't be allowed to retaliate after that night.
This is the American way.
Whatever. Frank realizes the bullet in his shoulder is a tracking bullet.
Trace blood.
Because, ooh, 2040. And he pulls the bullet out by himself, despite there being 2 actual trained nurses in the van with them. They hide from the helicopter under an overpass, but are beset upon by purgers. But it's all good because Joe crip whistles at them.
It was a crip whistle. They just threw it back.
And they're like, actually, we just wanted you to help our buddy out. And they're like, no problem, as long as you trick a few racist commandos into an ambush. And they're like, you've got a deal. Joe's like, I'm a black character, so obviously I used to be in the Crips.
On the ghetto, in fact. Everybody's got a past.
And Marcos is like, that makes sense. I'm a Mexican character, which means I used to be in the cartels.
Every day in Juarez was like the Purge.
Oh, yes.
And you're like, from there, our heroes drive to a secret triage location run by, hey, homeless forever young Dante, which is his actual name, I guess.
Can't say I'm surprised.
And didn't he have a facial scar in the first movie? Time does heal all facial wounds, they say. Also, it's 2040, who knows? You know, maybe he had some Flonase, but for your face that gets rid of scars.
I am young again.
Now that everybody is ostensibly safe, Joe convinces Little Death and Marcos to go back to the deli.
This is gonna be huge.
Even though the damage is probably already done. Like, they were actively breaking in when he left. It's not like he's going to be able to change much about the outcome now, right? Those Kit Kats are swallowed, my guy.
Look how my belly glistens!
And Frank, for his part, wanders into a secret back room and learns of a plan to assassinate the pro-Purge current president. And Charlie is like, hey, I disagree with such tactics. If you guys kill him, he'll become a martyr.
I cannot have my presidency built on
waffles and pussy.
But like, will he? If he's killed by the Purge, that'll cause unnecessary political instability. And it feels like it'd be a pretty easy talking point to be like, see, the Purge is a bad idea. And, or he'll just die, and then they can be like, yeah, makes sense. That's what happens during the Purge. Everything is exactly how it's always been. He's not a martyr. He just died because people die on this night.
What?
But whatever. It doesn't matter anyway, because that plan is already in motion. And currently, the government is about to attack the triage to kill Dante. So Frank and Charlie escape out the back.
Where does he come out?
And are almost immediately gutted by the swinging blade from Saw 5. But their guts are fine, so they're picked up by a turned around Joe and friends. But then, oops, their van gets slammed, and Charlie's dragged away by racists.
It's straight down. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
But it's okay, because Joe is like, I mean, they're definitely taking her to their secret Purge mass thing that they do, and that we know the location of because I saw it on the assassination board earlier, and they're all like, tight, well, let's go over to there and then instigate the films in the game. Charlie, for her part, is unconscious and tied up and put in some sort of smock thing and wheeled out to where the sitting president gives a boring-ass sermon. They first kill a guy named Lawrence. But before they can kill Charlie, Frank and team, who've hooked up with Dante's team, go full Joe Akimbo on their butts. Of course, the guy actively cutting Charlie is shot at the last possible second. That's a really tense way to do that scene.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
I wonder if doing scenes that way will catch on. They save Charlie and she begs Dante not to kill the president because
this is murder.
Which after 24 years probably just doesn't carry the same weight it used to. But he's like, whatever. These movies always have to end with somebody not killing somebody because that's a powerful message.
Very progressive.
But to be fair, that does make this the most coherent film so far, message-wise.
Kill me! You better win.
Oh, clap, 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 clap.
Charlie still calls the president a pig.
Pig. Excuse me.
Because everybody in these movies, they're all pigs to everybody else.
You're a pig!
The pig doesn't know his place, and now he needs to be taught a lesson.
And then Frank pops him in the balls. But wait! The fascist mercenaries show back up, even though I think they've already achieved their primary delivery objective, and therefore would still get paid. You know, like I think the job's done. But I guess that's why they're the best. Always going the extra mile is what gets you that 5-star rating on the Purge Merc app. And Dante is killed. Then Frank has a one-on-one knife fight with the most racist leader commando. And then whoops, an evil racist priest walks in and shotguns some people, including Joe, to death. But then he's killed, and it's like, good luck explaining your body count to God, Padre.
Ah, son of a...
And I guess this means that Marcos gets the deli, because Joe promised it to him earlier, but like, is that written down anywhere? How's he gonna prove it's his? And man, I wonder what happens the day after Purge Day with all the people who don't have wills, or now suddenly can no longer pay rent, or fulfill any of their other financial obligations. I mean, it feels like that would ruin the economy at some point, right?
Don't know, don't care.
But whatever, it works out, because 2 months later, Marcos owns the deli now because handshakes are extra powerful and binding in the Purgiverse.
What are the odds? I know.
And Charlie wins the vote in May?
That's dumb.
Wait, elections in the future are in May? Why? How? Would having it on the 4th of July be too on the nose?
It's too awesome.
Explain that bit of world building to me. Did the writers just literally not know when elections happened?
Wait, hold on. I am getting word right now.
These videos are so stupid.
Or, don't explain it to me, because Charlie intends to issue an executive order banning the Purge, although there are brief reports of unrest at this announcement. I'm sure it'll be fine. Movie over.
So that is it.
Hey, you're not done yet. Don't go poop or anything. You gotta finish the movie.
I know, I'm watching them. I just need breaks sometimes.
My bowels done joined the Purge too.
So I know what you're all thinking.
What happened at the first Purge?
Did everybody start small and just stay up too late and eat a little extra bowl of ice cream?
Christmas in March. I got my list. Y'all got y'all's?
Yeah. Ice cream, ice cream.
Did they start way too big and storm the Capitol? No.
Thank God.
It was pretty much the same thing that happens at each subsequent Purge.
Senseless wholesale slaughter.
Let's talk about it in depth, because this is YouTube, and YouTube needs content, and my Patreon needs patrons, and my children need food, or else I'm gonna purge Dave so hard.
Who are you angry at?
Corporations, probably. I don't know. It's been a long day!
Do you have an outlet to release this anger if you can't get high?
No. Anyway, turns out back in 2016 in fake America, the economy wasn't doing so hot.
Unemployment rising across the nation.
Stock market down another 2,000 points.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
As such, a third political party called the New Founding Fathers was able to take power despite having an objectively dumb name, and they won the White House.
The American dream is dead.
I mean, it's cool that we created a viable third party, but it's a bummer that that party is like full-on fascist as opposed to, one of our normal parties, which is only like 50 to 80% fascist.
Are you saying we have two fascist parties in this country?
Yeah.
I would say one's way more fascist than the...
That's more than 80%? The other one's a little more 50. I'm not gonna say which! They're all working together.
And I say that, and I say that.
Oh well, our story begins 2 days before the Great Experiment, which is to say they're gonna try out a little baby purge first. No, not a purge of babies, Dave. Anyway, this first purge is gonna be limited to Staten Island, which, fair. People can leave if they want, but if they stay, they'll get $5,000 plus bonuses for every headshot.
And if you decide to participate beyond that, there would be further compensation.
The old glory hole! If they stack enough kills, will they get a Predator drone kill streak? Ooh, I don't know. Keep watching to find out.
Let's do this.
And just so we're clear, the Pope is not on board like you might expect.
The Pope has continued his condemnation of the Purge.
I'll let him know what's up if I see him.
Ready? We blocked.
The whole thing is being run like a science experiment, and participants will have trackers and be evaluated before and after to see if murdering the old woman next door will turn them into model citizens for the rest of the year. It doesn't seem like a good idea, but if it's for science, we have to try it.
I'm skeptical.
Thank you for your honest answers.
Also, they pretty much let you do anything if you're wearing a lab coat. It's like, why do I even do this if they don't think I'm a real doctor? This whole thing is Aunt May's idea, by the way. She's a scientist and very clearly very smart.
The benefit of acting violently without worry of consequence, that's a freeing violence.
What does that even mean?
She's not currently wearing a lab coat, but also I can't stop imagining her wearing nothing except for a lab coat, aka the sexy aprons of science, am I right?
Yeah, well, we come in all shapes and sizes, you know.
Woo, Aunt May! A few people agree with the Pope and protest the whole consequence-free slaughter of innocent Americans thing, but counterpoint, science, and its sexy aprons. Can you really argue with sexy aprons and science? Of course you cannot.
Question is why?
I don't give a why.
But whatever, we've got some characters to follow, including this jacked gangster guy who's only ever seen in this movie sleeping with 2 women at a time because he's got the stamina of a bull and presumably the forked penis of a male sugar glider.
2 penises!
I mean, how else could you handle 2 women at once? I mean, I've only got, how would you?
Candle guy's got 3.
Who?
The candle from...
Lumiere.
Yes, think what that means.
I have 3 penises. My head is a penis and my hands are penises. When he turns back into a human, he still is like dicks all over him. Oh, I forgot that part about you.
I can't wait to be human again.
We've also got an idealist named Naya and her little brother named Isaiah, who, unlike my 1-year-old, sucks at selling drugs.
Keep it moving, man.
The guy doing the slashing, by the way, is named Skeletor. Is his first Purge act going to be destroying Mattel's trademark office?
What you need, Skeletor?
Books are the real treasures of the world.
Anyway, he is the latest in a long line of, ooh, I'm crazy Purge actors that, again, it just doesn't do it for me.
See, that's what the doctor ordered.
You boob.
Although he's probably better than most, but I feel like I'm just waiting for the next Brad Pitt in 12 Monkeys, but that seems unlikely to ever occur.
No such thing.
Now, while we're on the subject, stop putting Pitt in leading man roles. He's a character actor. Let him be a funny, little, inexplicably sexy weirdo.
There's no right, there's no wrong, there's only
Brad Pitt.
Anyway, this experience pisses Isaiah off, so he not only signs up for the Purge, he gets special, crazy-looking colored contacts that will record his every move and presumably confirm his kills.
You want to release that?
Penis!
I need to.
They also give him a flower, because that's the origin of the Purge flower, maybe?
The official flower of the experiment. They represent rebirth.
And it can also mean nothing.
And here I was thinking that they probably used that flower because the first confirmed Purge kill was like a botanist just going nuts on somebody who didn't fully appreciate Baptisia australis.
My special flower!
Naya doesn't know Isaiah is staying to get his Purge on, but she herself is staying so that they can get $5,000, which is kind of depressing, considering that's how much George Bailey needed to survive in 1946.
Do you know how long it takes a working man to save $5,000?
12 continuous hours.
And he didn't even have to get almost butchered for it.
My mouth's bleeding, Bert!
We're apparently willing to just accept less and less.
$5,000 to stay? It's life-changing for us.
Why do we have to work so hard? Why don't you just sit on this floor so much? Dimitri also intends to stay because he doesn't think his gang can move all their money and drugs off the island without attracting attention. And obviously, if they just abandon their stuff, a rival gang might come along and shove it up inside of their butts.
Christmas in March.
And believe me, they've got like $75 butts and 8-gram holes.
You using the whole fist?
I mean, if they could get the butt monkey guy from the third movie, who's presumably still alive, because canonically he lives in this universe, he could probably carry most of that stuff himself. They just get Hector or whatever, and they shove 58,000 kilos of cocaine in his butthole, and he trundles his way over to another, borough. Isn't that what they call the neighborhoods in New York?
And there are 4 other boroughs worth exploring here.
That's also what a Hispanic person would call a donkey, which is another word for ass.
Gotta play that like end of the movie solving it.
Quick! What else melts in your mouth? Exactly.
Anyway, that's the basic setup. And now we're purging, and Naya holes up at a church with a bunch of people while Isaiah goes nervously hunting, and Dimitri settles in with 2 hookers because of his forked penis. Skeletor kicks the night off by stabbing a guy breaking into an ATM. Oh! But overall, the event organizers are pretty disappointed with the results.
You predicted a much higher level of participation,
as the vast majority of people are content to just hang out and party the night away bloodlessly. Wait, are you saying that most people would prefer to have sex and do drugs over just randomly murdering each other? Well, that's weird.
Parties?
Oh, this is gay. It's so gay.
I'm glad that science gave us that little conclusion.
Behavioral patterns vary according to
parties.
Quick side note, the first 3 movies were directed by this dude, and so his black characters talk like this.
My Negro.
While this movie is directed by this dude, and his black characters talk like this.
Christmas in March.
No real observation there, I just think it's interesting when you can sense a director's hesitation. It is also interesting when you sense a director has no hesitations of any kind.
Did you notice a sign on the front of my house that said dead storage?
I did not.
Anyway, the press releases footage of Skeletor's first kill, and then Skeletor shows up at the party and starts stabbing random people.
This party sucks.
And then Dimitri's hookers try to stab him.
So what had happened was...
Gotta be f***ing kidding me.
And the Purge, snowball gets rolling a little bit, but it's still not as much as the scientists would like. I mean, we're getting there, but it's just not great. Maybe these people haven't played enough violent video games or something? Maybe they should just airdrop some Fortnites.
Increasing violence on various screens.
Isaiah eventually confronts Skeletor, but...
Oh, get the out of here!
And call his sister to be like, hey, I'm being chased by a serial killer, and also maybe other random Purge participants with crazy glow-in-the-dark eyes, which, by the way, is actually a pretty inspired production choice.
What?
And Naya is like, fine, I'll come get you. She almost never makes it, though, because she is attacked by a crotch-grabbing, baby-faced sewer man.
I do not like this.
And then even worse, she's grabbed by Skeletor himself, who cuts at her throat until Isaiah finally has the cojones to stab him in the back.
He literally stabbed me in the back.
So they can run away and get sprayed in the face by a crazy, but not particularly evil clown. He's just sort of a prankster clown. Dave, did you not play Time Splitters 2 religiously?
Oh, I played a lot of Time Splitters 2. Good. Oh my god.
Mr. Giggles, want to see my pocket?
Mr. Giggles, want to see my pocket?
Meanwhile, Dimitri has gone full Grand Theft Auto on the hookers.
Here we go again.
And learns they were hired by one of his goons hoping to use the Purge to depose the king, as it were.
I'm the king now.
You dropped this.
So instead, Dimitri ambushes that guy and kills him because like a dude camping in a 48-story Fortnite tower.
I don't know how to die.
But it's still not very exciting until racists on motorcycles come onto the scene. They kill everybody in the church, which is very sad and racist of them, but they also slam into Dimitri's car with a fire truck.
Oh no, the jungle needs water.
No, not that kind of fire truck. Really, almost the opposite of that. A truck that causes fires. Dimitri, ever the badass, leaves the wreckage and kills everybody, and they realize the racists are actually mercenaries, presumably hired by the new founding fathers to make things a little more interesting.
You're sending soldiers into the island disguised as gangs as citizens, hunting people down using the tracking implants.
Well, that sounds bad when you say it like that.
This is also how I liven up every party that I'm in charge of. Hire a couple of racists on motorcycles and man, things get crazy. People are like, wow, I'm so drunk. I'm getting stabbed by a racist.
Oh my god, I am so drunk.
This party sucks.
Also, funnily enough, Aunt May learns this as well. And is like, what? Now this experiment is unethical.
What have I done?
And like, I'm sorry, did you really think that this was just an okay thing to do?
The conceit is not a political one, it is a psychological one.
Because let me tell you, there are other ways to test if letting out aggression lessens aggression besides transforming an island into the Hunger Games. Couldn't you just like make a drug or paint Dave's face on a pillow and call it an anatomically correct robot? I mean, come on, this was always a bad idea. And indeed, they are like, you don't even get it. And they drop her ass off on Staten Island and they shoot her in the head, lol. At least she's with Uncle Ben now.
Are you okay?
Spoilers, that one guy. What?
I know, you spoiled two things.
Yeah, you spoiled a second film!
You're okay, you're okay.
And now things really heat up as fully uniformed but presumably off-duty cops kill people, which for the NYPD is kind of like working on your day off, and rainbow racists run around, and a news anchor hilariously notes that a lot of people are wearing masks.
We are seeing an interesting trend emerging tonight.
Dogs and cats living together.
And then wonders if they're ashamed of what they're doing, or if cosplay just makes the event more fun. And like, my guy, it's not because they're ashamed so much probably as the social implications. Like, remember this is limited to one island. Like, it is being filmed and the whole world's watching. They don't want to be remembered as the guy who like gutted a trickster clown.
Mr. Giggles, want to see my...
And also, yes, strangling others is way more fun and canonically accurate when you're dressed as Gold Bikini Leia. Because, well, she strangles the Hutt, Jabba. So if you're dressed like her, you're just doing the movie, and it's fine. Anyway, whatever. Naya and Isaiah and a couple other rando survivors make it back to their apartment relatively unscathed, give or take a few pooped pants.
Cause I on myself a little bit when I was on my way home.
In the streets, y'all.
While Dimitri and his boys gear up to Under Armour the island with a bunch of new weapons.
See, the NFFA forgot about one thing. They forgot about us.
We have to protect this house.
It seemed like people really needed this.
Including Chekhov's C4.
The hell is this?
Is that what Class 4 stands for?
Yes. No.
I don't know. They recently bought all this stuff for cheap from a new supplier and only just now realized that it had been sold to them by the government in the hopes that they'd use it to shoot each other. Well, that is unkind of the government. And also, another commentary. All right, okay, I see you now.
That's a metaphor.
Dimitri and team first ambush and massacre a paramilitary group, just straight up assaulting one of the apartment buildings. And let me tell you, the government has no chance. Dimitri apparently knows gun kata.
The gun kata treats the gun as a total weapon.
And the rest of the gang are like samurai level sword masters. Not sure when they had time to get trained by Cleric John Preston and Master Pai Mei, but it has paid off. They learn the government's next target is the building that Naya and Isaiah and friends are holed up in, but when they arrive, they're obliterated by government drones.
Heads up, enemy UAV spotted. Get out!
The flying kind, not municipal cubicle jockeys.
Got standards, I'm not just blowing everybody.
Now, I know nobody seems to trust the media these days, but surely some journalists could notice that, hey, these guys were massacred by military drones.
That's cheating.
This experiment's results might be a bit tainted, which, let's back up for a second. The movie keeps claiming that the experiment will be a success if the people living in this specific apartment complex participate.
What is your definition of success?
Well, the level of participation in certain areas, I think that'll be a strong indication that this night is a great success.
In what way?
How does that make it a success? Like, if it just turns out people are really angry and want to murder each other in this area that already has a high crime rate the rest of the year, then that's a success and means we should do more purges? That's like claiming a pro-legal drunk driving experiment is a success because you tested out the ASU fraternity brothers.
Oh my god, I am so drunk.
Success! And I know they claim they'll like interview people that survive and see if they feel better now, but a whole bunch of people who regularly live there have left the island just for tonight. The people left are the craziest and or most desperate people. There's basically no variable in this experiment being controlled for, and it's going to be impossible to analyze results. And yes, I realize the only actual scientist is dead anyway, and they'll probably just lie about the results because they just want to do a purge for some reason.
People don't want us to raise taxes? Our debt has tripled. Can't pay for anything.
You're trying to depopulate the lower classes just so the NFFA doesn't have to support them.
Marissa Tomei's character is like, no, this is a good idea. I actually came up with this idea on my own and I think it's great. And then the new founding fathers are like, oh, that is a great idea. I just don't get what it proves if you let people kill each other and then they do kill each other. You're like, well, I guess we should let them do that more. It's fine. I know that's not the point. I just don't understand what Marissa Tomei thought was going to happen. Best case scenario, what would happen? Everybody participates and that tells you what?
Bitches be crazy.
But unfortunately, the racists don't agree with me, and shoot, sorry, another tangent. I think it's pretty clear that the new founding fathers are a right-leaning party, and even though the mercenaries are dressed up and even disguised as a racist gang, they're being paid, and we don't actually know if they're actually racist, like deep down in their heart of hearts.
They'll work for anyone anywhere as long as the cash is correct.
I just knew deep in my heart
I'm not racist.
So if you're already false flagging this whole thing, should they be dressed up as communists with those big Russian fur hats and stuff?
This is a statement, right?
I realize that's not as easily identifiable a gang, but if one of the gangs going around massacring everybody appeared to be left-leaning, I think it'd be easier to be like, see, liberals have latent aggression as well. We all need this, instead of what it currently is, which is like, well, hey, the racists sure enjoy using this night to murder black people. Don't you think we should scale this nationwide?
I need to sell this on a countrywide scale because this is our last hope.
They need this. I think this study has proven that this is for them. But whatever, they're currently racist, or they're serving racist, and they're killing everybody in the building, but unfortunately for them, Dimitri is a one-man wrecking machine. And honestly, the fight choreo in this movie, it's not bad. It's ridiculous and insane. And watching Dimitri flit down the stairs like a schoolgirl threatens to ruin it. But it's super fun. I mean, it's legitimately pretty rad. Even better, Dimitri kills the power to the building and his subsequent hunting looks pretty cool. It'll probably cause you to have an epileptic seizure, but nobody said freedom was free. Elsewhere in the building, Naya and friends have barricaded a door, and Naya helpfully explains that the bad guys, they're gonna come through that door, which is a good note, because it is also literally the only door into the room they're hiding in.
They'll be coming through this door.
Great, yeah. And she's right. Because she's a Napoleon-level strategist, and she shoots them in the legs, and they stab them. And shockingly, the last one is surprise shot by Big D. Oh my god, I didn't think he would be able to shoot him, but then he did, and it was like, I thought he was gonna kill her, but then what a surprise for him to be shot from somebody we didn't see. But then, oh no, more are coming, and they've got, I guess, a class 4 or under rocket-propelled grenade launcher that they're about to shoot down the hallway. Feels like structurally, this building is gonna be in trouble if you're firing RPGs inside of it. Skeletor shows up, and wreaks some havoc, giving Dmitri just enough of an opening to hook Chekhov's C4 down the hallway and shoot it, causing all remaining bad guys to fully explode, while he himself is also shot, but in the non-problematic part of his tummy. You know the spot. It's uncomfortable, but nobody shot in the stomach has ever died in a movie. We're all a part of a support group that meets on Thursdays, and the snacks are very light because obviously we have tummy issues because of all the bullet holes in them, but none of us are dead. And that's it. The sirens go off and the new founding fathers are like, wow, that was totally a success. I think next year we're going to do it nationwide. And like, in literally what way? Name a single way it was successful or beneficial.
Staten Island and its citizens have proven that this experiment was necessary.
In what way?
Even if you just came right out and said, hey, it killed a lot of poor people, so you guys all agree, you're gonna have to explain how that automatically makes the economy better. Staten Island is not like an isolated ecosystem or economy or whatever. The pizza joint on Elm Street, it seems like it's doing really good business, so I think we've proven that wholesale murder is a success. And actually, I guess that's not even what they're claiming to test, right? It's still just, do people feel better the other 364 days of the year if they murder on one day a year? And how can you possibly know if even that nonsense hypothesis is proven until you've waited like a year?
We will, of course, study the results.
Of course, we later learn that I guess it does literally work economically and emotionally, as evidenced by low crime. That's one of the weirdest aspects of these movies. They're saying, I guess, that if we just massacred poor people every year, we'd have a great economy and basically no crime, and only a few woke liberals would even be upset about it. I mean, we think that's bad, of course, but it apparently would work. And also, the movies never offer any other solutions to crime in a poor economy. And no, these aren't distinct screenwriters desperately trying to stitch together different threads from other writers. This series is all written by the same guy. They're like, well, killing people, it would work, but don't do it. That's bad. Anyway, see you next sequel.
We're considering a nationwide purge, as the people are now calling it.
As we near the end of this year's Purge, let's take a look at some of the most shocking footage captured tonight. Be warned, this is not suitable for children.
Here we have a man with scissors and he's cutting off a tag. I guess now's a good time to do that. Oh, look, it's a small child. That's different. It only has a tape roller, but this man appears to be cleaning. I don't know if it's a crime to clean, but getting your chores done is always a good idea. This man has made a list of his crimes, one of which is to have not much money.
Good luck with that.
Cut the shit. Cut the shit. Yeah. You want to cut the shit? I want to cut the shit with you. All right, I'll cut the shit with you on.
Let's talk about the final movie, despite the fact that it is literally not a Purge movie in any meaningful sense.
Nothing is forever.
Oh no. It's just a glorified sort of societal collapse / disaster movie, not dissimilar from that A24 Civil War movie that I'm hoping will be good.
It was.
Anyway, this goofy movie opens with two desert wanderers that we quickly learn are coming to America illegally. I feel like that's literally what they are doing, but I feel like if I say it, that it sort of like aligns me with the worst people in the world.
Yeah. Mexicans?
We should just move on. Dave speaks a little Spanish, so if you're going to be upset at anybody, be upset at Dave. Dave es muy malo.
Are you Mexican?
Do you speak any Spanish still? ¿Puedes hablar en español?
Un poquito.
Oh, sí. Oh, muy bien, yay.
And now I'm fluent.
Oh, also they're handed a flower card for some reason that I still don't fully understand even after having seen the movie, but basically it appears to be the mark of people that are friendly to Hispanic. Dave, weren't you like wiping your ass with one of those cards earlier?
Disgusting.
Oh. Anyway, it's now 2048, and hilariously, President Charlie sucked at being a president, I guess.
Tell you this much. She got them little titties, but she
bad at her job.
The economy immediately fell apart, and 8 years later, the new founding fathers have been legitimately reelected.
The new founding fathers immediately reinstate the Purge.
After an 8-year hiatus. Again, do you really want the point of your movies to be that the Purge literally works, and there are no alternatives?
Is a biased media stoking the flames of discord?
They try to walk this back a little by being like, but also there's lots of racists now, so that's bad. But even that could be seen as a direct result of the last last 8 purgeless years. I think your metaphors are confusing and bad.
That's a
bad
metaphor.
Whatever. The boy immigrant named Juan is really good at breaking horses, much to the chagrin of his white boss's white son, who is as bad at horses as my white son is at boats.
A little more horse than you expected, huh?
The girl immigrant named Anna makes a living packing meat at a factory. It's not a euphemism, but I get it.
I know someone who can calm that.
I also worry that this movie is supposed to have subtitles.
Adela, apaga eso, por favor.
And now I'm fluent.
But I am not going to question Mr. Torrent's decisions.
I hope you downloaded this on a purge day so it's legal.
Oh, I did.
He didn't.
Juan's nice boss gives him a purge bonus for protection because he remembers the Titans.
No thanks required.
Mexicans.
But also, it feels a little last minute to hand him cash like 3 hours before the purge is to commence. I mean, money is money is money, but I'm not sure he has enough time to purchase a fully stocked underground bunker and private army before things get nuts.
Well, I know that a lot of people feel that way, but I'm not sure that's the case with
Mexicans.
Whatever. Maybe he can get some curly fries so his last few minutes are at least a little greasy. I mean, it's the true American way. If you're gonna die with a curly fry hanging out of your mouth.
I like the horsey sauce as well.
confusing times.
Or I suppose he can use the money to help pay for the school bus that takes him and his Hispanic friends to a warehouse where they've hired guards to snipe white supremacists or whatever. Oh, and apparently the don't kill politicians rule is back now that liberals no longer exist. That night, some racists drive by and Anna grabs a rifle in a way that suggests she's great with a rifle. And another weird thing about these movies is its insistence that all Mexicans are, they're great and they're nice, but they also have dark pasts where they fought with cartels because Mexico is just one long endless purge.
Where'd you learn to handle a weapon like that?
Mexico.
Anna basically flat says this.
Well, there's parts of Mexico that sound like this every night.
How come you know how to fight like that? I was part of a group of women fighting the cartels.
Just like Marcos did in the third movie.
What'd you do in Mexico?
I tried to survive. Every day in Juarez was like the purge.
And I didn't tell you then because I was gonna make this point now. So that's called writing. But I'm not sure what point the movies are trying to make. They're like, Mexicans, they're good people, but their country is hell on earth.
Oh, that's not what I meant.
I don't know.
Maybe this guy had a bad experience in Mexico.
He was like, dude, I went down there once and it was like all murder and crime was legal for 12 straight hours, but forever. That's how bad it was.
I got no problem, Mexicans.
Oh, also all the whites, including a pregnant Mrs. Righteous Gemstone, hunker down in their ranch fortress.
Starting, y'all.
And that's it. Nothing happens. That's the extent of the purging. No, the violence hasn't ended, as evidenced by this news anchor getting headshot, and the mean white ranch hand rounding up all the less racist white ranchers and threatening to kill them all.
This feels like Christmas.
I got my list, y'all got y'all's?
Yeah. But just because all the people who refuse to stop purging and keep yelling about the yee forever purge,
this is the forever purge.
He said it! Doesn't mean that we're doing a purge in the traditional sense. It's just a movie about people killing people. We already have a lot of those movies. I can think of at least 3 movies like that right now, and all of them are better than this one. Anyway, Anna, of course, gets stuck in a post-purge goat trap. And is attacked by trash can rabbits, but she's used to forever purges because she's from Mexico.
The purge is over!
Mexico.
And then her boss shows up and the two of them killed the shit out of the trash can rabbits.
And I get the tender rabbit.
But they're arrested by cops who are like, hey, come on, you guys aren't supposed to still be purging.
The purge is over, lady. What the hell are you doing?
Are you Mexican? Can I be honest? I'm Mexican.
And even though they're like, no, the trash can rabbits were the ones purging with their goat trap, they're like, I don't know what you're saying. We got to take you to jail now. So they throw them in the old paddy wagon. Also, why a goat trap? Why would they assume that somebody would try to help the goat? Are they trying to catch chupacabras? It's a weird trap idea.
The goats are really cute.
Oh,
Unfortunately, in the aforementioned paddy wagon is an idiot Nazi.
Would you shut the up?
Ooh, and he's a crazy guy. Oh my god, he's so crazy.
Yeah.
Everything is going to shit because people just be forever purging, which, I mean, it seems crazy that it took 30 years for anybody to not agree to stop killing when the timer goes off. And the paddy wagon gets obliterated by an RPG. Which, again, how do people have RPGs? Can you just buy those? Dave, give me an RPG.
I'll be right back.
Anyway, Anyway, they survive, but the Nazi also survives, so they have to kill him, which they do forever. Purged his ass. Oh, back to those held-up ranchers for a hot-ass second. Juan and his buddies show up for work, but are like, what the heck, where is everybody? And they peek around a corner to see them all tied up, as we aforementioned. But, peeking around a corner seems a lot less effective when you have a big-ass cowboy hat, okay?
That's so funny. Yeah. It's like, you just see this.
Yeah, it's like Abraham Lincoln.
Calm down, just calm down.
You just see this hat wiggling around.
He's like, hasn't even looked around the corner yet, and he's like...
He's wearing those really long boots at the same time.
The Ron DeSantis boots.
The Ron DeSantis.
That are like, have a whole extra foot in there.
Why don't you wear tennis shoes and dress shoes?
I do wear tennis shoes when I work out.
Anyway, they witness the poorer white racists say a bunch of villain monologue about how, you know who created the purge, don't you? A bunch of fat, rich businessmen in Washington, D.C. And like, okay, they didn't invent murder. Poor people going out and murdering everybody has been on the table since the beginning of time. That's always technically an option. And rich people are always less likely to get murdered in non-purge scenarios. I just don't think this metaphor is as strong as the writers think it is.
That's how we have felt every day since the day we were born.
That hurt my feelings. Hurt my feelings.
Anyway, the two Mexico-hardened Mexicans bum rush the poor racists with assault rifles, but are unable to save Mr. the Titans. The whites and the Mexicans work together, beginning with hopping in a big-ass truck and barreling into town. And then, yeah, they link up with the paddy wagoners, and all disparate stories become one. Except then the boss leaves, so bye.
I'll be fine.
As you can imagine, the new founding fathers declare martial law nationwide.
Breaking news.
But less imaginable,
Mexico and Canada will take in anyone from America unarmed for the next 6 hours.
For any Americans who don't want to get murdered by purging trash can rabbits. The catch is Mexico is apparently an endless purge in and of itself, and Canada has Canadians in it.
You know, the more times I spend with her and her peoples, the more I see merits in that lifestyle. You know, hard work.
John f***ing pooping into a bucket.
But I guess both actually have universal health care and fewer Dallas Cowboys fans, so they're still better than Texas.
Well, there's a match made in heaven.
What? Our little group begins the rush towards Mexico, and ultimately the movie becomes barely any different than any other apocalyptic disaster movie like 2012, except instead of a limousine driver driving his family in a limo to some arcs, one step ahead of the world climate changing itself to death, in this movie it's a family of convenience driving a truck to Mexico before America racists itself to death.
I got no problem with Mexicans.
It's the same vibes.
Let's, how do you say this? Slice it?
Both are kind of happening, like, in real life.
No. We're gonna get canceled. Well, not canceled. I feel like it's liberals that get people canceled. Conservatives just get mad. They, like, shoot beer cans.
Grandpa's feeling a little frisky today.
John f***ing pooping into a bucket.
Pretty quickly, they're Mad Maxed by some racists on motorcycles, because has a racist ever driven anything besides a motorcycle? Like maybe a pickup truck here and there. But for a racist on the go, you really can't beat a motorcycle.
I'm very anxious to have you join our racist motorcycle club.
Anyway, they definitely won't take kindly to the Mexicans in the back of this truck, but it's cool because the lightly racist ranchers guy's not racist sister grabbed a racist ever after flag at a gas station earlier, and she flies it out the window to be like, hey, it's totally cool. We're super racist in here.
What's your favorite movie?
Ever After! She's one of us!
And also, this movie doesn't really have a budget for a true vehicular carnage fight scene. And the racists are like, oh, thank God. We have as little tolerance for going over budget as we do for illegal immigration.
This is getting really expensive.
They're going away.
And they motorcycle away to look for other non-whites to yell at. Sort of what Dave does after we finish filming every video. His motorcycle is very cool and very racist.
Sorry. Canceled.
Oh, shit. Eventually they arrive in El Paso, but it's looking rough. There are tanks and shit, and they're forced to abandon their truck to look for new life on foot. There's basically an all-out war happening between the military and the racists, which in this instance are actually two different sides. And it's not immediately clear to me whether the military is keeping people out or in or both. We don't really get a sense of what the new founding fathers are up to in this movie because, again, this is not a purge movie, which on the surface sounds like sweet release, but in practice is still this movie, you know?
Cut the shit. Cut the shit. Yeah.
You want to cut the shit?
I want to cut the shit with you.
All right, I'll cut the shit you want.
I'm gonna do it!
Things happen. resulting in yet another story split with Mrs. Gemstone and Anna forced to go their own way and score their own sick-ass kills.
Bust his sick ass.
They eventually run into a bunch of friendly Spanish speakers, which is muy bien.
Está bien.
But the other group is held up by some mean racists, which is muy malo.
Couple of bad hombres.
And the racists are like,
you kill the brownies, and the two of you can live.
Brownies, is that?
And the whites are like, no.
You redneck.
You pig.
Go yourself, Grandma.
That goes against our character arcs. So the mean guys shoot the non-Juan, less important character, and then the army militaris ex machinas, and they start a helpful firefight before getting RPG'd per usual. And allowing the Juan and the other non-Juans to escape to the same Buenos Spanish-speaking safety rescue space. Reunited at last! Unfortunately, the military gets their ass purged harder than mine after an Arby's bender, so they pull out of El Paso harder than Dave from a first cousin when he realizes he's no longer in the state of Virginia and it's not as okay.
I hate metaphors.
You didn't even react to that. You're like, yeah, right, sure. Yeah.
Sorry.
And Mexico prematurely comes to the conclusion
Mexico will now be closing their El Paso border crossing point.
But it's all good because a Native American dude agrees to help them cross the border the old-fashioned way using tribal lands, except, oops, the bad racists from earlier have followed them somehow. I don't know how they know where they are.
Damn it. Beat your mother.
And while the white ladies forge ahead, the boys and Anna stay behind to fight alongside some Native Americans with no real skin in the game, and this guy literally says,
This is our last stand.
But like, it's also your only stand, right? You haven't technically made any other stands, and I feel like I wouldn't be willing to classify this as the last one just yet. Not a great morale boost to be like, we're almost certainly gonna die!
This is our last stand.
Thank God they've got the Native Americans because they open hostilities with some Hawkeye explosive arrows. And then immediately they all run out of ammo.
No! I'm out! I'm out too!
Well, they tried, and by they, I don't mean the screenwriter. But no, it's all good. They've still got blades and stuff. And the enemy doesn't come up with many plans better than drive a motorcycle in circles around a tiny enclosed hut. So our heroes Wilhelm their asses, which is extremely out of place during the climax of this hyper-serious film, and after more killings, they finally lasso the leader bad guy and golpearlo con una frase grosera.
Does this translate?
And the moment feels like it's supposed to read as some cathartic defeat of a mortal enemy, but they didn't even meet this dude until 2/3 of the way through the film. And he's not really significantly worse than the other 900 crazy people we've met in this franchise. Like, yeah, he's racist and trying to kill them, but if I had a nickel, am I right, Dave?
Save that Mexican.
Now they're in Mexico, and Mrs. Gemstone has crapped out a baby Gemstone off camera thanks to Mexico's universal healthcare, and hooray! The Mexicans are home, the place they escaped from like less than a year ago because it's a forever cartel purge here. Hooray! Also, America is getting trashed, but thankfully there are other, presumably less racist Americans grabbing guns and murdering the more racist Americans in support of the racist, murderous government in power. I mean, if that's not a happy ending.
Large groups of Americans are banding together and fighting back against these purgers.
There are two factions at play, and I hope they both lose. Anyway, that's the purge.
What will the new America look like when this all ends?
Mexico.
Are you happy?
Oh, what? Did you finish? Me too, actually.
Oh, dude, come on! Oh, is it over?
They're coming in through the pipes, dude.
They're coming through the fucking pipes, dude! Your mom must have just pissed like 8 gallons. Elsewhere in... Your dogs are purging.